Today I want to talk about, and I want to encourage new people or people who are looking to begin keto. I want to give you the top 5 things that I think, and this is me, this is not a doctor. If you want professional advice, you need to consult a doctor. But these are my top 5 things that I think would be helpful if you're starting a keto diet. The top 5 things to focus on, because when you first start keto, there's a lot to do and a lot to take in, and it can be overwhelming. These are the top 5 things that I did, and I'm going to give you more things after to focus on, but for now I'm going to stop with the top 5. The first thing I did was I really only concentrated on the carbs. I concentrated on staying under 20 net carbs. So if you can concentrate on staying under 20 net carbs at first, that will make your life easier. Don't worry about calories. Just try and stay under 20. Once you get the handle of staying under 20 net carbs, you can move on and start working at macros. But for me, what worked for me to stay on keto, I stayed at under 20 net carbs. And when 20 net carbs is the carb count minus fiber and minus the sugar alcohols. So that's what I did. Within the first couple of weeks, I stayed under 20 net carbs, and I didn't look at calories. I didn't look at fat. I just concentrated that, because then once you do that, you can start looking at a bigger picture, and it's easier to start following keto. Number 2, the next thing I did is find a good electrolyte. From a standard American diet, you are going to go through major carb withdrawals, and you're going to need those electrolytes. So find a good electrolyte online. Right now, I'm using Powerade Zero and Dr. Berg electrolyte solution, and I'll link that down below. You can find that on Amazon, but that is key. I went through major carb withdrawal. I was ready to go through the carb withdrawals, but I went through major carb withdrawals. So you need to find an electrolyte that will help you with that. And I'm talking about, I had twitching in my legs. I had migraines. I guess it is called the keto flu. I like to call it the carb withdrawal flu because it was awful. But it lasted 5 days bad. And for a couple of weeks, I did have that twitching. It was really weird. But major carb withdrawals, you need to have an electrolyte. So that's number 2. Get an electrolyte that you like, and it doesn't have to be Dr. Berg. I just like Dr. Berg. Number 3 is do research. This is a biggie. Do the research, but don't implement it. Just start researching. Key people that I found helpful, and I'll link this below too. Dr. Berg on YouTube and on Facebook. He was a big one for me. He helped me figure everything out. Keto Connect on YouTube. Big ones. Dr. Jason Fung and intermittent fasting. I like to listen to Keto for Normies for a podcast. Dr. Barry, he's a good one. I also like to listen to Thomas DeLauer, I think his name is. So just do your keto research. It'll make your life easier, and then you can prioritize. What are you going to do next? I didn't intermittent fast, and I still don't. I've never done like an extended fast, and I've been doing this for almost 7 months. Until I was a couple months in, I didn't even know what it was. I was like, what? Fasting? I'm not fasting. Like, I'm like, I dropped the carbs and now you want me to not eat? Like, So make sure you do your research before you start implementing something else into the ketogenic life. You're going to be learning to cut out those carbs, going to be going through the keto through. You don't want to be like throwing all of these things into your life right at once. So that's number 3. Make sure you do your research. And it's a big one, because then you can think to yourself, okay, what else can I add into my keto lifestyle? Okay, so number 4, make sure you get a tracking app or track what you're doing. Most people I hear about use the carb counters. I personally prefer MyFitnessPal, because I used MyFitnessPal when I was tracking a standard American diet to lose weight, and I did that for years, so I'm really used to it, and I really like MyFitnessPal. Some people do not like to track at all. I love to track. think it helps me to go back, and I like to look at the patterns and see, okay, well, I lost weight here, I didn't here. What was I eating? What was I doing? MyFitnessPal tracks my fitness and my calories, and I don't know if the other carb counters track those, and I don't really like them because the other thing I do a little differently, and you might do this differently too, is I count total carbs. So I don't really, and if I do net carbs, I can do that on my own. I love MyFitnessPal, but what most people use is Carb Manager or Keto Diet apps. It's your journey. You can do this how you want to. Go in and try with trial and error. You can figure out what you prefer. I tried the Carb Manager and I didn't like it. It just made me anxious, quite honestly, because I was so used to using MyFitnessPal, and I like to do total carbs. That's what I do. I go in and I use MyFitnessPal, and maybe I'll do a tutorial on MyFitnessPal for this and for Carb Manager, but right now I only have my phone that I shoot videos on, so I really can't do that. Number 5. Now this is the last thing that I think is really important that you do when you start a new ketogenic lifestyle. Don't exercise. And you're going to say, Kristen, what the heck? They all say that you need to eat healthy and exercise to lose weight. And yes, you do need to exercise. But if you have never exercised in your life, or just don't have exercise in your life, I think it's really important to not start it when you're doing keto, not start it on top of doing keto, because you don't want to add too many things. At least for me, the more I add to my plate, the harder it is for me to continue doing it. So don't start exercising on top of doing keto full swing in the beginning, because you're going to get burnt out and you're not going to stay doing a keto lifestyle. Once you're in a pattern of doing well and you understand your food, then add in the exercise. But for me, adding exercise on top of trying to learn a new way of eating is too overwhelming. So for me, this might not be free. Maybe you can do all kinds of things and start the keto lifestyle at once. But for me, don't start exercising until you feel comfortable that you have your eating and how you feel down, because you also might not feel that great when you start doing the keto lifestyle. You want to make sure that you have things down. Like, you don't want to add too much at once. And that's what exercise would do for me. And that's why I didn't focus on it. And when I do exercise, I walk. I'm thinking about lifting weights eventually, but for now, I walk, and that's about it, because I want to lift weights because I'm going to have loose skin. I mean, it's going to be inevitable, and I want to fill those areas in as much as I can with muscle. But I'm taking this journey slowly, and I'm going to encourage you to do the same, because it is a journey. It does take time, and you don't have to do it all overnight. That's my biggest piece of advice is, don't think you have to do this all overnight. You're not going to lose the weight overnight. It's going to take a while. It's going to take you a while to figure out how to do this, but don't give up, because within the first few weeks, I started to feel so good, and it's so worth it. And once you make it through, you will really appreciate the keto lifestyle. I know that I've lost 77 pounds and I walk. I don't walk all the time. I keep track of my steps and all that, but focus on the food. And then once you get the food down, start adding in the exercise. So, and that's a big one. Like, don't just rush. Don't try to do it. And I think that's probably why so many people fail working a new lifestyle, is because they try to do everything at once. And that's why I think it's really important to take one thing at a time. You need to be ready. I was very ready when I started keto. I was sick of being overweight and feeling like absolute crap all the time. But I also made sure I knew myself, I knew my body, and I knew that if I did everything at once, if I took it all on, I would fail. And so that's what I did. I did those 5 things. And then in my next video, I'll tell you I'll go more in depth for beginning keto of things that I did, but those are 5 top things that I think are very important that you do when you start your keto journey. And there are more, but that's how I started. I kept it simple. I kept it easy. I didn't complicate it, because you couldn't look at keto. There are so many different ways to do keto, and I'll get into that in some new videos. But you need to make sure that you concentrate on a few things. Maybe just take 2 things. Don't exercise and track carbs. I mean, if you do that the first week, that you'll be ahead of the game. And add on researching after that. Just keep it simple and you will be successful. That's my biggest advice. Keep it simple first and then add things. If I had added vlogging on top of keto and exercise, like, my head would explode, because I am a busy special needs mom. Everyone's busy. Okay, let's face it. Everyone's busy. If I had too much all at once, I'm not going to do it. It's not going to be sustainable. But making those little changes one at a time, this has been sustainable. And I've also been able to tell what is making the difference for me. Like, what is making this difference? Why am I feeling so good? So it's good to know. It's good to know that these things, what is making that difference. So anyway, if you like what you see, could you please hit like and subscribe? I'm getting very close to 100 subscribers, and I'm really excited about the keto lifestyle, and I want to share it with as many people as I can. Thanks for watching, and please hit the like and subscribe. All right, I will talk to you later. Bye.